Hi everyone, Sherry Canino here with Canino's Artistic Cafe, and today I wanted to show you how I used one of my Gelli prints that I had made with the stuff from my yard into an art journal page. So here I have one of my Gelli prints, and I'm working in my Dilutions 9 by 11 book, and this sheet is just a little bit smaller than the Dilutions, so it works actually perfect. And I'm using a Yoo-Hoo's glue stick, and I'm just gonna glue this right directly into my art journal. Just get a lot of glue onto the entire surface just to make sure that you're really getting it stuck down well. You could definitely use a matte medium or any kind of glue that you have. I just prefer this. I just take like an old store card or credit card and just kind of smooth it out to make sure that all the wrinkles and the bumps are out. And when you find a few little edges that are not sticking, and just can add a little more of the glue on there. I like this particular stick because it's drier. You don't have to wait for anything to dry. You don't have to use your heat gun like you might with the matte medium. Here I have some teal golden paint that I'm going to put out on my palette. I have a few different colors that I'm going to be putting out. All heavy body paints, white from Liquitex, have a yellow from Dina Wakley. My yellow is almost all gone. I gotta get some more Dina Wakley paint. And I'm just going in with my finger, and I'm just doing around the edges that are white with some of that teal golden acrylic heavy body paint. And here you see me just putting one of my other Gelli prints underneath, just so that it doesn't get onto the pages below. But a lot of times I don't even work like that. I don't worry about it. I add a little bit of water just to blend it a little more, make it a little more fluid. I was trying not to have it quite so thick. I have a few edges that I end up having to add a little more glue to, because I had missed like a few of the edges. Now I'm adding a little bit of the yellow and kind of just blending it in, just getting rid of like the white edges. I just don't want that like white, stark white border around my page. As you can see, I'm getting it on the other page, but I don't really worry about it. I just kind of smooth it out so it's not like real clumpy. And there you can see I've got an edge that didn't get quite stuck, so just go back in with my glue stick and add some more glue. Just blend it in just to get some color on there. Here is all the stencils that I'm using are StencilGirl Stencils. So here's one of my StencilGirl Stencils. I'm just getting some white and some yellow, and I'm just blending it on my palette and then using my finger to roughly and very messy go through this stencil. I'm not looking for a nice crisp edge. I'm actually just the opposite. I'm looking for a very not crisp edge. That's why I'm using my finger. And here I don't like that it covered up that part of the Gelli print, so I just use my spray bottle and wipe it off and go back in with my stencil again. Decide to turn it the opposite way and add a little more there. Here I have another StencilGirl stencil, these stars, and I'm terrible with names. They all have special names, but I'm horrendous with them. Just using my finger with some of the, again, the yellow Dina Wakley paint. Now I'm blending a little more white and a little less yellow to get some real lighter stars. I love this stencil. This is like one of my new favorite stencils. And I had no plan in mind, so I'm like looking through my stencils trying to decide. This is a stencil that I got. It's Cecilia Swatton stencil, and as you can see, it comes like this. I bought two because I wanted to cut one out, and I wanted to still have the border on one. So I'm going to use, I love this stencil because it could be like leaves. It also looks like feathers. And I'm picking out a particular leaf on there and just going in with some white and teal with a foam brush and very messily stenciling this, just basically trying to get this one leaf. I love the shape of this one, and it's just kind of where I want it to be. And flipping it over, doing the same thing up here, just getting some really pale teal, mixing the white and the teal on my palette, and then just going in and doing these leaves. Just randomly getting, some texture going in the background. That's my pug snorting in the background as usual every time I do a video. Here's another awesome stencil. And I go in with the yellow on my foam brush that already had some blue on it, and it's turning too green. So I go in and get the white and try to drown it out a little bit. Then I ended up getting a new brush altogether because I wasn't getting the yellow that I wanted to get. I just wanted to have a really, really pale yellow. I love this circle stencil. I love circles. It's just so much fun. I don't know. I just love it. So I'm just wiping it off onto the other page. Kind of just start a new page while I'm working on this one. Here, this particular stencil has a mask and a stencil, and I haven't had the heart to cut it apart yet. I know it's going to be one I need to buy a second one of because I like to have them put together and cut apart. I'm terrible like that. So I'm going in with the teal and just with my foam brush. And I was just pointing out that I'm trying to keep my Gelli Print of the leaves as my focal point. So I'm trying to this little tiny circle stencil is amazing. I just got this, and I'm going in with just some, I already had some blue paint on my finger by accident, but I'm basically going in with some white. This adds so much tremendous texture. I love, love, love it. And then I do some over the leaves just to give it the leaves a little texture because they were looking a little plain. Here's another StencilGirl stencil, and I'm getting some black Liquitex heavy body paint to stencil in with this. I grab a foam brush, and at first I think I'm gonna try to be neater with it, and then I decide no. Once I start, I'm like, forget about it. Let's just go with the messy. And then I kind of do it lighter around the edges to kind of fade it out there. And it's pretty dry. I'm not going in and grabbing more paint. I'm doing a much lighter stenciling of it because I don't want it too thick. Here is some, I think it's Calypso teal, some dilution spray, and I want to do some drips, but I don't want them as dark as what you would get if you were using like a paint or an ink. So when I want something a little more translucent, I go for my dilutions. They're water-based, but it's okay because I'm not going to be doing more spraying or anything like that on top of it. If I did, I'd probably lose my drips. And I have a third one that you'll see once I lay my journal back down. So I just let them dry by themselves. I'm not using my heat gun on them. Just going to kind of work around them. Here's some Jessica Sporn stamps, the butterfly stamps. Love them. Super adorable. Love my butterflies. Love anything butterflies. You guys probably already know that about me. So I'm just going in with just a black VersaFine ink. Any kind of archival ink or stays on is fine. And stamp in some little butterflies. I don't really clean my stamps per se, just wipe them off onto a rag. I don't really worry too much about like using a special cleaner or scrubby on them. Now I'm grabbing another Jessica Sporn stamp that says Be Happy. And again, same ink, VersaFine, and just stamping it randomly 3 different places. Loving her stamps. And you probably can hear my pug panting in the background, although we have the air conditioning on, so they're just really full of drama. Now I'm grabbing, I think this is a Hero Art stamp, and I'm just going in to grab a little bit of texture off of this. I actually got the edge a little bit too much and it was being too defined, so I had to wipe it off a little bit. And this is a larger stamp, so it's actually, with stuff being wet on my art journal, it was a little bit challenging trying to just get little parts and pieces in there, but it worked out. And I think it gave it a nice, some nice little added texture. Fine, more of a fine texture than than I could get with a stamp or with a stencil. So that brush I was showing you is like one of those fine liner brushes. I'm sure there's a specific name for it, but I don't know. So I'm just going in with some black acrylic paint that I actually spritz with some water and thin down a little bit. This is a good place if you have either a black ink or if you had a more of a fluid paint would work probably better, but I had all this black paint on my palette and I just didn't want to waste it. So just outlining the leaves, I felt like they were really getting lost in the background, and so I wanted to do something to pull them to the forefront again. So just outlining them in black. A couple of them I go around a couple of times, just give it more of a painterly look, and then I start to do something on the edges, and then I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So I made like one little mark. Now I'm coming in with white because, again, it's just not, for me, it's not standing out to what I want it to. So the white is a little more challenging because it's the titanium white, but it's still not getting there. A little harder with the heavier body paint. This is where if you have an ink or the fluid paints work much, much nicer. So, but it did the trick, and I didn't waste the paint that I had on my palette. So now I'm going in with some more white paint, and this is the back side of that paintbrush. And I'm just doing, you see I got a little blobby. It's humid here, so my paint is drying fast on my palette. Just making some little dots. I love to use the back of my paintbrush or any kind of paintbrush or stick or anything to just make some random dots that aren't, even and aren't perfect. Just, again, just to give it a little more, pizzazz, I guess, texture. It's a little more time consuming if you use probably the end of the paintbrush, the right side of the paintbrush. You could probably do it a lot faster, but because it would hold more paint than my little. That big thick white line there was just staring at me, so I had to wipe it out a little bit. So now I'm getting some teal paint on my pinky and just making some random dots on my page. And now I'm going in with some yellow, doing the same thing. And there is the finished art journal page. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you soon.